Welcome to Classic Game Room for the review of Project S-11 on the Game Boy Color. What? You've never played Project S-11? It's the sequel to Project S-10. It's a cool game. Let's check it out. The first thing that you'll notice right away with Project S-11 is the music, which is pretty cool. This is a surprisingly good game that looks unremarkable at first. Like the title of the game, the cartridge artwork, the fact that it's on the Game Boy Color does not scream like this is going to be an awesome game until you play it. And while this is not an awesome game, Project S-11 is a good spaceship shooter style game on the Game Boy Color. I'm playing it here on the Game Boy Advance SP, which is probably the best way to play it. Nice backlit screen. As you can see, it's a good looking game. This looks like an NES game. And kind of plays like one too. Now I'm recording it from the Retron 5, which brings out the visual quality. For the most part, this is a very average game for the genre. It's pretty cheap. I like the screen layout. They did a nice job making it play on the small screen. This might be one to add to your collection. I will forewarn you though, as you may have just noticed, if you do not have the NES advantage, if you're not playing this with your Retron or something, you will be mashing buttons until your thumb falls off. There's no auto fire in this one. Unless you use the Lava Ninja Stars. The Lava Ninja Stars give your thumb a break because they have an auto fire option. So, like every other game in the genre, you collect weapon power-ups that give you different lasers. You've got Spread Shot, you've got the purple Death Ray here, you have the Lava Ninja Stars, which are very cool. You have a wide Spread Shot, which sucks, and the missiles, which also suck. The lava shot is probably best if you're playing with the actual Game Boy or the GBA SP or something, because you don't have to constantly machine gun. It has an interesting feel to it, where if you hold down the button, it's like a garden hose. It shoots out and then it starts to shorten the length of the stream. So you have to tap it, but at a certain rate. It's just a nice way to give your thumb a break. The Spread Laser Shot is probably the overall best weapon in the game, and you may have noticed that there's weapon power-ups that float across the screen. And they rotate between the weapons. So you collect the one you want, I think you can level your weapon up to 4 times. Nothing you haven't seen before. The scoring in this game is super low, which is weird. This is like the complete opposite of Gigawing. You get like a point for the enemies. 2 points. Not a terribly long game. I think there's 8 levels total. In fact, I beat the game while recording this. So yes, there are 8 levels total. Boss battles. Not a whole lot of diversity in the boss battles. At some point, they just start to charge your ship. So when playing this game, you can take some damage. As you see, there's a damage bar on the right. But you'll die really quickly if things start to run into you. So more than anything, just try to avoid being... just try to avoid contact with the enemies. It's hard to say what really makes this game stand out, beyond the fact that it's a decent game and an unexpected surprise on the Game Boy Color, I think. You can continue, there are passwords, but once you figure out the enemies, it's actually not all that hard. This is not as challenging as as many of the other games in the genre. Level up your Spread Laser Shot and just figure out which bosses try to charge you and just stay away from them. That's pretty much the secret to the whole game. Nice level diversity. It's a good colorful game. I mean, for the Game Boy Color, from the color standpoint, the designers nailed it. This one's published by Sunsoft, not one you typically would hear about in the spaceship shooter genre. The enemy diversity is not all that exciting, but it's a good all-around portable spaceship game. If you find it for a few bucks, which you should be able to find it for a few bucks, you like playing on your GBA SP or something, pick this one up. I think you'll be surprised. It's a good average game. And of course, I've got a Classic Game Room shout out and thank you going to my friend Ben from Buffalo, New York. Ben, thank you for sending this one to the show, except you didn't actually mark up the title with a marker like you normally would do. Project S-11 for Game Boy Color. For some reason, it's the Game Boy Color surprises me, because the library is not nearly as deep as like the standard Game Boy, which has a lot of cool spaceship shooters, or the Game Boy Advance, which also has a lot of cool spaceship shooters. So to find this one in the middle is, I think, pretty neat. It's not a bad game. If you think it looks good, hunt this one down. As always, thank you for watching. Classic Game Room is on Patreon. Classic Game Room Barware is at classicgameroom.com. And my books, Surf Panda, Jesus the Coked Up Chicken #2, and Retro Megatrex are on Amazon.com.